Yeah, I've reached new levels of psychosis, and I saw a movie 3 times in 5 days. I'm not doing good. I keep getting worse.
That was me in Miami Vice 2006 earlier this year.
That was me and The Fellowship of the Ring when it was in theaters. So
I saw it once at Animationist Film, which we talked about, and then I saw it again in Atlanta with some One Piece podcast folks, and then I saw it the day I returned from Atlanta with friend of the show, Steve Yurko, and I was like 3 times is enough. I've seen the movie.
A lot.
It's
a lot of times, Josh.
It's not a movie that demands 3 viewings to fully learn new information. Mm-hmm. But then Steve was like, "What if we go see it in 4DX?" And I said, "I don't want to do that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see film."
I've never seen a movie in 4DX.
Yeah, that's what made me cave, is that I've never seen a movie in 4DX. So the Regal 4DX experience is an immersive, tactical, haptic feedback situation. Your chair moves to the
D-box.
Your chair moves to the major movements on screen. If there is a chance for a big wind, colossal fans will turn on. You might think, Josh, wouldn't that make the movie hard to hear? You're correct. The fans are louder than the volume mixing of the movie. The seats in front of you, because this is a movie about fictional pirates on the sea, the seats in front of you do spritz water when there's water spray.
And it's set on the ocean, right? Is it just constantly blowing water in your face?
They only really did water when there was like a notable like spray or splash of water on screen.
Like a fucking Gallagher show.
Yeah. Finally, they attempted 2 more things that were ineffectual and bad. There was a smoke machine during parts of like smoke related, but like the smoke only pooled in the front of the theater, so the effect wasn't very good. And then at the end, during one of like the idol performance, glitter does rain down, but again at the front of the theater. I didn't even know it was happening until somebody pointed it out to me.
You were not in the glitter splash zone.
It is without a doubt the least dignified way to watch a movie. It was a big blow to my ego, to my sense of adulthood. It was impossible to watch the movie because many people who watch One Piece will know that eventually One Piece becomes an action sequence, an extended action sequence, and this happens every time. So every time there's a punch being thrown, the chair moves. And the chair will move in intensity based on the big punchies that are happening. A couple of them hurt, folks. It was like getting in a very low-speed car accident.
Give them whiplash.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. You couldn't hear the movie much of the time. I will never do it again. It was unbearably bad. Do not see a movie in 4DX if you want to see a movie.
It sounds really unpleasant.
I saw it. Actually, each of my 4 different screenings were sort of different ways to see it. I saw it standard movie theater at Animationist Film. Then I saw it in like faux IMAX. You know what I mean? It's not really IMAX.
Limax.
It's like big. Yeah, Limax. Then I saw it the 3rd time in IMAX proper, and then lastly in a clown car. And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hit it!
Hello and welcome to Swimfans. This is your erotic thriller podcast for the week. I'm your co-host Josh. You didn't cock the floor correctly, Mackenzie.
Oh, I'm Craig Big Rick Neeson.
You took mine, Josh. Mine was Alex hasn't been thoroughly cock-talking.
Minor differences. This week on the podcast, we are talking about 2015 movie Be Careful What You Wish For.
Which I think is careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
It's a bad title either way. So if you've not seen Careful What You Wish For, yeah, there is no beat. You're right.
Who hasn't?
This is a movie starring Nick Jonas, who plays Doug. Doug is I'm guessing he's like 18 or 19 because they're talking about him going to college. He's a young boating whiz who's coming to stay at his parents' house. He's sort of like a boat prodigy. He knows all about boats for his young age. Their next door neighbor, Elliot Harper, is sort of like this older, kind of sleazy guy, some sort of rich guy archetype. And he's bought this old boat that he needs repaired. And he's like, "You are cheap child labor. Come repair my boat." So as Doug is working on Elliot's boat, he finds himself infatuated with Elliot's wife, Lena, who is significantly younger than him. She's very pretty. She's everything that a woman in a bad erotic thriller is. And Elliot frequently travels for business, but Doug is working on the boat, so he's always around Lena. And eventually they begin an affair where Lena takes Doug's virginity. Lena tells Doug that Elliot is emotionally and physically abusive to her, and that she wants to get away from him. Other people in town also warn Doug to stay away from Elliot because he is like a notorious asshole. One night, Lena calls Doug over, and Doug sees that Lena has killed Elliot. She has bludgeoned him with a fire hydrant. So Doug attempts to cover up the murder by feigning being Elliot, driving him out on his boat, and staging some sort of concussive accident with the arm of the sail. I've never been on a boat. You know, the sticking out part of the sail.
He fakes Wild Things in him.
For those of you who have seen Wild Things, he wild things him.
Yes, he stages Wild Things, including Elliot's penchant for smoking while drinking on the boat. So there's also a fire involved. It's almost the perfect crime, but they are the local police are teamed up with Angie, who is a stalwart insurance adjuster. She is here to make sure that nobody gets any money.
This is the single most dedicated person I've ever seen.
And
100%.
And the single most powerful insurance claims adjuster
100%
on the planet.
Yes,
she's the Death Note L of insurance investigators.
Yeah, similar to L, she does usurp the power of the local police department. Sort of becomes like the temporary sheriff. But Angie is able to quickly sort of pull at the threads of Doug and Lena's story. And the whole thing sort of in slow motion comes down around him. Finally, once the jig is almost fully up, Doug goes to meet Lena at this boathouse where they've often hooked up. And Lena, because, you know, the cops are hot on Doug's tail, so Lena attempts to make it seem like Doug was about to assault her. Doug gets a bit of grace from the police chief, played by Paul Sorvino, and Doug is able to show Angie, the insurance goddess, evidence of their liaisons on his phone. I guess he just shows her a phone with smoking gun evidence, whatever. The twist of the film finally at the end is that Lena and Angie have both bamboozled Doug. They were in on it together. They are in a sort of Thelma and Louise sort of relationship. And now that they have killed Lena's husband, they are going to make off with the $10 million settlement. There's an epilogue to the movie where Doug went to jail for like covering up a murder, like accessory after the fact. And he's, it's like weird because Nick Jonas is like hardened by the system at the end. And he tells the viewer that Angie and Lena have still not been caught. But he's like kind of glad he went to jail. So that's careful what you wish for. I'll go first. This is my fault.
How did you find this? First question. What are we doing here? How did you find Plush? How did you find this? How do you keep finding erotic thrillers from the mid 2010s that nobody that I follow on Letterboxd has seen?
So what I'll do?
What websites are you on?
What I'll do is I will type stay with me here. I will type erotic thriller into Google, and then I will just close my eyes and scroll on the suggested suggestions like several times until I find one that looks appropriate and we haven't done, because you go through your Fatal Attractions, your Basic Instincts, your Body Heats, which, by the way, this is heavily based on.
Yeah.
I just kept scrolling until I find them, and then I stopped on one, and I'm like, I think that's a Jonas Brother. We should do the Jonas Brother erotic thriller. So yeah, mea culpa. This one's on me. Just like with Plush, I must apologize to my co-host. I find it inoffensive in its construction. It's like generally competently made. It's nothing to write home about cinematically, visually, sound-wise, acting-wise. I guess Nick Jonas is like mildly better than I thought he'd be, but like that's, again, I'm not like thrilled. The twist isn't cool. Wasn't interested in it. I so rarely have this problem on the show. Just thought this was dull. The worst thing a movie can do is bore you, and I kind of thought that's what we got here. I guess the most fun I had was that the actress playing Lena is like, in true ghoul fashion, she's just absolutely manic on screen. So I guess she's kind of the one bright spot in this movie, because her performance is high energy. I don't know, it was just uninspired, I guess. Uninspiring.
Yeah, this is pretty whatever. It's competently made in the way that like there aren't like tripods accidentally in the scene, It's clear like professional people made it. But I kept being like, who's this for? Who's gonna be the one gunning for careful what you wish for?
Yeah.
And other than I liked few of the characters. I liked that really horny best friend.
Carson,
who acts like he's in American Pie, even though he's actually in Body Heat. I like that he kind of just seems completely out of place for this movie. Like, there's one scene where Nick Jonas just confesses his role in like hiding a body, and then he responds with, "Oh, I got a secret too. I've been nailing yo mama," and it just doesn't land. Like, it's not funny. It's not charming. It just feels weird and out of place.
Yeah, because the scene right before this, the cops are hot on Nick Jonas's tail.
Right.
Like, he's about to get caught for accessory after the fact.
Yeah, man. And then there was the murdered husband. And I only really liked him because he speaks in these very obvious double entendres, where there will be a scene where like Nick Jonas is like supposed to be working on the boat, but he's just standing there and ogling his wife. And she'll just be like stripping in front of him, and he'll be making like oh my god, like oh my god faces, and like it's a naked lady over there. And then like the husband will just like come out of the cinema ether, and he'll be like, "What a great boat, but you can't wait to turn her out," or something, like. You got to be careful with the head on that. It might go under and get all wet and shit like that. My Letterboxd review is just like a paragraph of that. Be sure to get a firm grip on the back end before you plunge into that soaking body of water. When you come inside, make sure you watch out for the messy top you might spill all over her. Anyway, I like that guy. The movie sucks when he's out of it, because he's not talking like a freak anymore. This is a bad movie. Craig, how'd you feel?
I enjoyed this movie. It's a bad movie.
Right. I forgot to say that. I was kind of into it. Sorry, my brain's a mess.
No, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. This film is clearly a vehicle for this particular Jonas brother to have like an acting career, which I don't think he did.
They literally had a TV show before they were a band.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he didn't have a movie career anyway.
Frankly, doesn't show here. The film feels designed to have him not speak a lot. Because he doesn't actually have a lot of lines. Yeah, I mean, it's boilerplate. I think it gets nutty enough with its twists at the end to be kind of whatever. I love the duplicity. I love the wild thingsness of it. Yeah, I mean, it's a static thing. Surprised by how much kind of naked Jonas Brother we get by it. You know, like the take your shirt off to smash my window shit. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
That scene was fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
I think what permeates this film and what makes it special is that it's all bizarre. No character feels connected to any character. His parents don't feel like his parents. They don't have like the way that like it's written and the way that it's acted, it doesn't feel like they're having an affair. No character. It's like every character is acting alone on a set, and then they kind of like do some editing to like put the two characters together in composite. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird and it's stilted and it's poorly written and but it does show you the extent that a good old boy law enforcement agent will go to let a good upstanding white boy off, give him more than the benefit of the doubt, will let him escape custody.
Yeah, literally leaving the scene of an arrest.
Yep. Just like he has been arrested for murder and has been found to be assaulting someone and is not handcuffed. Is merely
he gets a timeout.
He gets a timeout for doing an oopsie or whatever, and he is not handcuffed. He's actually being kind of aggressive about having not done it, while three kind of deputies stand like 100 feet away, just enough so he can get a head start with his bicycle.
He's
weird.
Basically the cop from Rad who is just there to chase the kids on their bikes and then be escaped from, and then that was all he did.
Purely symbolic.
This is a minor note. I found Lena's styling as bizarre as her. Her hair was so weird.
It was really distracting.
In the long run, it's a pretty lower order problem, but like, it's a weird hairstyle.
Yeah.
So, like, listener, if you can picture in your mind, obviously, you know, the actress is like a beautiful lady, but they have taken her hair in such a way so as to wrap it around the top of her forehead and have it fall at the other corner of her forehead. I don't know how it stayed in that fashion. Typically, you would see either a part somewhere in the hair or like bangs. Neither of those.
It's a formless blob on the top of her head, which looks like it's been like just bleached to oblivion.
Yeah, it looks. And this was made in 2015. It seems like a hairstyle 10 years out of date. And she's obviously, her whole thing is that she's a pretty young socialite. It's just strange styling. And again, it's not important, but I did find it extremely distracting. As far as petty little problems go, but I couldn't rest until I mentioned her haircut.
Yeah.
Erratic.
I feel you, Craig, because maybe it's just familiarity. Like I'm just picking up stuff from other movies that are better, and I'm kind of just being like, yeah, it's like that thing. I don't have to think about anything. Maybe that's why I kind of enjoyed it.
Well, I am picking these when I go on my brave movie questing. I'm chasing the Swimfan dragon. I want to find the purest expression of mediocrity I can find. But the thing about Swimfan is it did it in like a fun way.
Yeah.
And things such as Plush and Careful What You Wish For are not nearly gutsy enough to hire an intern to do 2 art school shots and then have him beheaded off camera.
This and Plush, I think they're in the same. I think they're made like two years apart, but they still.
I believe Plush was 2013.
They might as well have been shot and released at the exact same time, in the exact same place or something, because they don't look like they're in the same location, but they feel the same to me in my head.
Yeah, because both movies are like strangely out of time. Like
right.
The 20 teens was not an era for the erotic thriller.
No, it was effectively dead the entire decade.
100%. The sheer idea to give a Jonas Brother a vanity project and to have it be an erotic thriller is strange.
It feels like he was like, "Oh, I want to be in a movie, but not a kids movie. We're gonna go older. I want to be in an adult movie." And they're like, "All right, we'll just make one of the old ones we made. We'll put you in it."
Swimfans logic there.
It seems to me that if you wanted to make a Nick Jonas vanity movie, you would either do an action movie if he just wants to be in a movie. Maybe he's like Office Jim. Maybe he's a troupe. Or perhaps you would do, or if he wanted to be like taken seriously as an actor, perhaps you would do some sort of family drama.
Yeah.
Some sort of Oscar bait situation. To do an erotic thriller is an insane choice.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder who made that call.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have a weapons grade twink here on your hands, and this is what you do with him.
Honestly.
Because, of course, like, his fan base isn't going to turn out to see this, and no adult is going to turn out to see this. So, like, who's the demo for this exactly?
So he has some stuff for his reel.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it.
It feels passionless, like this movie, in terms of its like creation. Like, I can't imagine anyone like writing this thinking that like, oh, this is my story I'm gonna tell, you know?
Right. It's too pastiche. It's too familiar. It's a blankness. I mean, because you see it coming. At least the turn coming from a mile away, right? That she's deceptive. It's obvious that she's deceptive. Even just like format based, before it begins, you kind of like, we're not seeing her face, being like kind of coy with it. Again, how she's styled, she's initially giving the world's floppiest hat, and that's how
that hat sucked.
And that's how we're introduced to her. But yeah, it's deeply entrenched in these things, and you know that he's being kind of thrown under the bus here because he's naive or whatever. Oh my God, I'm sorry. The biggest thing that I couldn't get over, that I kept like doing in my head even as the film kind of moved on from it, was like, what's going on, fucking geek? You reading your books? You're a smart boy. You're real smart. You're a smart motherfucker. You're real. How many books you read, egghead? You fuck 4 eyes. Like, the movie, like, spends so much time telling you how smart this kid is, only to just bushwhack him and show you how fucking stupid. Like, I was expecting some kind of like, oh, he knows like a formula for like a chemical compound, and he can break the restraints at the end or some shit. It's just like, no, like we got smart boy who likes to read over here. Look at this bitch.
Yeah. In fact, he's so owned that they passive aggressively drive back and leave him a cell phone just out of his reach.
Yeah, I mean, he gets like mega cucked. The story like doesn't even like involve him really. Like, the more interesting story is what's happening with like killing, like Alex said, like the fucking douchebag who can only speak in innuendo, and the heart that is tattooed that connects to the insurance claims adjuster, the beautiful gay love affair, and they fly off into the distance to be presumably to go meet up with the surviving actress in Wild Things. They too,
they're
Neve
queer
Campbell.
polycule.
yeah, I mean, they too have 300 IQ.
Neve Campbell and Serial Mom.
It's just, yeah, I mean, a lot of this movie just, it feels like a puzzle. The puzzle is technically like creating an image, but like it's pieces from like Basic Instinct and Body Heat and whatever. And it doesn't like line up anywhere. You know, again, the kid doesn't feel like he has parents. He especially does not feel like he's actually friends with the young yokel boy, who incidentally plays a boyfriend character in Atypical, the Netflix series.
I can't believe you know that.
I do know that.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It's
I'm sure someone else does though, Craig.
They'll
probably really appreciate that.
This is someone else's MK Ultra activating thing. It's fine. Wow, there really isn't a lot to say about this movie other than it's just like pure pastiche. That it's like,
well, on this show, longtime Doves will know that on Swimfans you have freak derogatory and freak complimentary. And what this movie is desperately missing is a freak complimentary. I mean, broadly speaking, this movie needed vision on any level. But it needed, if you're going to make an erotic thriller, like we mentioned last episode, it's a genre where you can watch the filmmaker and writers tell on themselves, and that's kind of the part of the fun.
Yep.
There is none of that here because there is no hand of the maker.
Right.
There's no pervert at any step of the process.
No, the eroticism in this is like, what if you fucked a girl?
Because it literally is, because he's a like virgin 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Who is like deflowered by this woman, and there's nothing else.
Yep.
There's nothing else to it. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about what Craig said about who this is for, because there is a lot of time with Nick Jonas being almost naked. So presumably it's for heterosexual women ages 18 to 35.
yeah.
Who I can't imagine were seeing what came out in 2015.
I don't believe this went to theaters.
I can't imagine this demographic going to see this movie, because isn't this even kind of past the heyday of the Jonas Brothers?
It has to be, right? Because he's
Yeah, because they were like Hannah Montana adjacent or something, right?
Yeah, well, when they were like a group, they were like the Hannah Montana era, but like they each had like their own solo. I hate myself. They had like solo situations, but I think this is late even for their like solo celebrity. Yeah, I don't know. There was no hand of the freak at any point in the process, and as a result, it's a nothing story that, you know, like you're both saying, can only make other movies.
Yeah, thinking of the lack of freak. I might be mistaken. Are the Jonas Brothers? Did they do the purity ring thing too? I
believe they were the purity ring guys.
Yeah. So I think that's where they made the mistake. Is they were like, what if you had sex? And that's
if you're trying to consciously break that image and be recognized as an adult, then you want to do the opposite. You want to be in a movie where you fuck.
Right, but that's like the poverty of the imagination then, right? Because like we've seen decades and decades of just abject pervert behavior play out, and again, it's like the one character is like basically the friend character. He's something out of Stifler. He's Stifler. I was about to say Stifler. He's something out of a screwball sex comedy, and it's like, okay, you know, he's like, oh, who you been fucking in the boathouse? Oh, you getting that V up in that P or whatever?
Dude, are you getting your cock sucked?
It's just like, I sold you out to the cops because I couldn't stop talking about how you were getting your cock sucked.
Dude, I bet you were fucking her
so fucking
you were
wild.
fucking her so hard, dude. That's like so cool. Dude, did you come?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tell me all about it,
bro. I'm so sorry. I implicated you in a homicide. Oh, shit. So fucking stupid. Oh my god. And then there's like a mea culpa at the end of like, I've got your back, man. Like, I know you didn't. This movie is too flat for me to take objection to the fact that everyone kind of believes that he didn't do it or whatever, which is not to the movie's credit at all. But it is kind of remarkable how many characters are just like, he didn't do it. Absolutely, with just like no context, no shred of whatever. It's just like, yeah, she's the bad one.
Sorry, I love this. I love the bro, I sold you out to the police for a homicide scene because the end The end of the scene is Nick Jonas storming off because his best bro just sold him out for a homicide. And his friend is just like, you said you wouldn't get mad.
Bro. Oh, so it's like that. Oh, okay.
It's a line that Stephanie would say on Full House. Like, it's just
he's probably the best character in this. Him or the double entendre husband.
I was gonna say that, like, in a movie where, I don't know, if you were gonna make a movie like this where it's like this young adult and like somewhat older adult have an affair, they have more sexual chemistry than him and the woman. I'm sorry, like that, because that guy's like a creep, and so like he sort of just oozes like a creep charisma the whole movie.
And she's his arm candy, and there's a fraught, like, we see them kind of arguing kind of Rear Window style, and it's like, oh, okay, like, and even like the way that they're on the boat together, all like knife in the water style, and because clearly this film is much like Knife in the Water, but like the way that he's like speaking about women while she's like silent off in the corner, like, you know, he's speaking to her, or speaking like kind of about her through the Jonas Brothers' like lack of experience with women or whatever, and like how they should be treated or whatever the fuck. That's like, yeah, way more interesting than this. Like, this was my first, well, no, technically this was my third time. First time was up in the bedroom, second time was on the stairs, and third time was just now. It's like, fucking shut up. You know, it's it's so juvenile. It's just American Pie without any of the nihilism or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Lena is just like such a, because we have seen by this point in the show, we're on like year I don't want to know how many years this, actually I don't want to know how many years we've been doing this, never mind. But like we've seen every kind of ghoul.
It was
okay?
like
We've seen
5 years we've been doing this.
Fuck. Swimfans is a kindergartner. We've seen the diabolical ghouls, which, you know, of course, are my favorites. That's your Amazing Amy's. That's your Kathleen Turner in Body Heat, the movie that this is like wholesale taking. But Lena in this is nothing. She's this interesting mix of agencyless and duplicitous in a way that doesn't reflect humanity in any way, shape, or form. She's completely guileless until she becomes guileful.
Yeah,
right. And her process.
There's a ghoul turn right at the end of the movie.
Right. The thing that builds her guile stamina bar or whatever, she's not on screen. It's the slow kind of processing of how she set it up, because she's absent for a lot of that discovery period, right? When they kind of figure out that the window is broken, and that, like, you know, she shows up like a couple times wearing like a dress, and then she vanishes. You know, we're not getting to see her actually transform. We get to see her guileless. Then the movie goes through its the fucking around, and then we go to the find out stage. I mean, then afterwards she's, you know, rank 10.
Yeah. She goes from being like a literal damsel.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, because we've seen movies that have like these twists where it's revealed that the ghoul is not whomst we thought the ghoul was, a ghoul turn.
Yeah.
But like, this is completely, like, I mean, like you're saying, Craig, it's off camera. It's like you can't look back on the movie and be like, oh, she was plotting this whole time.
Yeah.
There's no characterization to this. It's just that she's there, and then she's just reacting to what's happening, and the movie needs her to react in an antagonistic way to like do a twist. So suddenly she's flipping on Nick Jonas, and it's weird. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It would have been easy and fun to do like an evil diabolical woman. To do Kathleen Turner in Body Heat, just do that again. Because like Kathleen Turner in Body Heat, you can, for lack of a better term, you can see the gears turning, right? We don't know what she's planning or what she's like up to, but we know she's up to something. She's not simply standing in a white sundress, sort of looking into the middle distance. You get the sense that Turner is plotting, and you don't know if it's going to be for or against the protagonist at the end, but like she's calculating. She's gonna get her money. She's gonna kill that lady that she switched identities with. There's none of that here. There's none of it visually on screen. There's none of it implied. Frankly, there's no implied subterfuge on her part. It's just a really bossy insurance adjuster who's god moding, and then they're in on it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't think we've seen a movie make this mistake, which is to hide the ghoul, which is weird because
It's your best asset.
Yeah, it's your best asset. It's your number one selling point is to have a beautiful woman be naked, doing crimes, being a caricature of female kind of treachery, and it's just like, no, we're not going to use her at all. In fact, we're just going to show you the Jonas brother get distressed for his real, which isn't fun. It's not.
No.
The procedural burn isn't fun without. We need some treats, right?
We need treats.
We need treats. You gotta pop.
I'm a growing boy, damn it.
I need a little chalky chip from time and again.
I mean, literally every time we think about the treat thing, I think of the Tyler Perry throwing gummy bears in Ben Affleck's mouth in Gone Girl. We need those, we need the movie to, because if we sit through the procedural and we're diligent and we kind of understand what's going on, you got to throw us a treat. You got to give us something from the erotic kind of ether, and this movie is like denies you that. In fact, once the sexuality, the kind of baseline sexuality of like I slept with a girl happens, which is like second acty.
You made it with a girl in the first third of the film, and there's no more sex.
Yeah, and then it's gone. Then any kind of like sexuality is just has vacated the film. So why?
Yeah, I feel like the best faith response to the ghoul problem is that there's sort of a ghoul dyad here, where Angie is the other half of the ghoul. But she is doing calculated stuff, but like there's no reason to suspect that she's just not being a super cop. Like it's not like it. I don't know how to phrase this. Like I think you can get away with having it be a twist at the end that actually she's in on the plot. But like I feel like texturally there's got to be something to make you feel vaguely sus about Angie. And that's not there. It seems like she's just doing cop stuff.
It feels cheap. Like why would she be doing other stuff besides being seemingly the greatest detective in the world?
Yeah, why is she being L Death Note? Why, like I don't understand. But like, and so like, I wonder if this could have been solved because I mean, there's no characters in this movie. Like nobody's growing or changing. It's just cardboard cutouts interacting. Perhaps the difference between this and like a movie like Gone Girl, where you can see those gears, or Body Heat, where you can like see the ghoul formulating plots, even though you don't know what they are, is that they had character moments to go through.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the difference. Like, even though Angie has scenes where she's like practically Mirandizing Nick Jonas, even though she has these scenes where she's talking, like it doesn't give you any interiority. It doesn't give you anything to form any sort of impression about this person. So when it's a heel turn at the end, you're like, I guess.
I mean, so like think about all of the things we like about this movie. It's all the bizarre performances by people who are not the lead actors.
Yes. Yeah, and again, it's like inoffensively made. It's not poorly made. It's not stellarly made. It's just made competently.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not so fun to be in that middle ground. Maybe if this movie face planted a little bit more, or it's like a little had some expressive touches, because it is so. I mean, it's well made, but it's also deeply safe.
Oh my god, yeah, so safe. There's no.
I wouldn't use well made. It's made.
Competent. It's made.
Yeah,
made.
I think it's competently
Right,
made.
right,
It's like
yeah.
because I just saw Don't Worry Darling on HBO. That is the only time I can think of where there is a shot in a mirror where you can see like the camera operator. You guys,
What?
I've never. Yeah, there's a scene near the end of the movie where Florence Pugh is coming back into the house, and there's like a little mirror next to the door, like a decorative mirror, and you can see like a camera operator in the mirror. And like, I guess nobody noticed, but like that movie had like mad star power and that huge
Right.
press tour, and that's like the mistake you make in undergrad.
Yeah.
So like that didn't happen, I guess, but I guess that would have at least been interesting.
There's a shot in Suspiria where they zoom into it's the Udo Kier scene where he's just dumping exposition, and it zooms into a reflection of him explaining to oh my god,
Jessica Harper.
Jessica Harper, and you can tell that the camera is like behind some kind of black thing, so you can't see the reflection of it. But there's a small gap in the like the fabric or the like the layer, and you can just see Dario Argento.
Well, but Argento didn't have the power to digitally.
No.
erase a man from a
No,
mirror.
I think it's intentional. It's like a window in the fabric of that thing, and you can just see Dario Argento like on the Blu-ray, like pretty clearly.
I've been meaning to ask you guys this. Have you seen any like contemporary movies where you can just see like such a glaring error in the filmmaking like that?
No, they're usually taken out now.
Yeah, yeah.
Old like movies from the 80s, like all the time. Like look into like the reflections of cars, or like you can see camera people. But like I mean, since like since like 2006, like, not really.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish this movie had tried anything. I assume it had to be safe to market the Jonas Brother, but
It doesn't exist for anything else.
Yeah.
Is the problem. It's not here to sell you a ghoul even.
Yeah, it's not even concerned with these like conservative patriarchal values of like hysterical women and misogyny. It's just like, here's your Jonas Brother that you asked for.
Yep.
And it's also, I don't think he wished for anything. What does he have to be careful while he's wishing for anything?
I think it's that line that Elliot gives him where he's like, love will cost you more than you think. And then they echo it at the end when love costs him more than he thinks.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Maybe
he didn't have like an I want song or anything, you know? Like,
what if this?
Honestly, a musical number would have been fun.
or a dream sequence, or a swim fan clock shot.
Yes, come on. Make out with somebody in a blue room. I'm begging. They should make an erotic thriller musical.
They should.
I'm just thinking out loud.
They should. Why not?
Producers that listen to this show, let's fast track that.
Inside the ghoul box.
It's a bunch of Polaroids singing to each other.
I'm evidence.
Why, I'm a lock of hair.
I'm the wisdom teeth of my dead lover.
I'm a forged passport.
Yeah.
I'm a scrapbook full of newspaper clippings about the incident.
About the unsolved incident 12 years ago where my lover fell from a balcony.
Dude, I fucking miss ghoul boxes. It's like the best part of those movies. Is like the main star, like whatever hapless rube just like goes into her closet and like finds like a fucking crusty shoebox, and this is full of like incriminating evidence. It's like it's so good, man.
Yeah, whatever rube wanders into this spider's web and opens up her Pinterest ass Michael's craft store box, full of like a bloody knife and just various Polaroids, only for her to materialize behind him as a specter would. Any of that, folks, would have been good in this movie.
Why, Jason, what did you see in the closet? Did you see anything?
What's wrong, lover? Nothing, Melissa. I was just looking. I was just looking for my ball cap to hang out with the boys. Didn't find it though. And then it cuts to Melissa, and she's not blinking, and she just says, "That's okay. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. Let's go check a different room."
And then she kind of like puts her hand on his back, and they walk out of the room. But then her head turns, and then there's like a foreground out of focus is the ghoul box as they're walking out, and then it rack focuses to the box.
It rack focuses back on her impassive face as she walks out of frame.
Oh my god.
Do you guys have any final thoughts about Careful What You Wish For?
I mean, I kind of like this kind of movie.
Yeah, I feel I was too harsh earlier when I said I was bored, because I was less bored than I was comforted by.
Right.
I wasn't challenged at any point during this movie. It
Didn't have
gave
to
me
think about it.
Yeah, it gave me. It actually was a great follow up to our 50 Shades series, because I felt similarly smooth while watching this.
I don't think we gave enough credit to Swimfan. That's a weird fucking movie.
Yeah, it's a cryptid.
I think at the
for
time
sure.
we are like, oh, it's really derivative of the movies that we've seen. But like compared to the shit we've seen now, it's like, God, give me fucking Swimfan.
Yeah, like instead of the rack focus, it's like, cousin, oh right, you don't have any friends. It's just like,
And she kills like 2 police officers with a service weapon.
she just goes for the service weapon. That's amazing. That's bold filmmaking.
There's that great with like a steady cam shot of him like swimming across the pool, and then it goes back and she's in frame. Like,
yeah, and the ticking clock that's attached to the camera apparatus. Yeah,
Fuck, man. At least there was eroticism there too.
Yep.
yeah,
Like,
that pool scene's pretty good.
Yep.
yeah, because like,
Interesting lighting.
yeah, we had it good 5
yeah.
years ago. Yeah, I don't have any. Yeah, it happened. It's all right.
It's really,
I'm never gonna think about it again.
yeah, it's really hard to talk about. Nothing fucking happens in this movie.
If you're listening to this and you're an aspiring filmmaker, just go for it. Just do something.
Yep.
Alternatively, if you're like, yeah, I love Lifetime movies.
I mean, Lifetime movies are more salacious than this.
Yeah. They tend to get a little bit more nutty than this. They're a little more adventurous because they've run out of material, so they have to titillate their audience somehow, and that's by getting real weird.
The Lifetime movie they showed us in my 9th grade health class was about like a super violent strain of syphilis that is a super spreader event at this high school, and it's all this like 15-year-old girl.
Holy
this
shit!
15-year-old. It's this 15-year-old girl's fault, and it's about unsafe sex. And it was, of course, unbearable to sit through, and I'm sure it's extremely judgy to her. But like,
it's called "See What Happens," Candace.
If you're making a movie, just try something.
Yeah.
I'm begging.
Yeah.
Put all the blame on one character who doesn't deserve it. You know,
Who's just a child going to school.
all of like the cinematic blame too. Like the movie's like really like calling that like one character who doesn't deserve it out for, you know, just something. Take a stand, damn it.
Yeah.
I give this 1.5 stars.
I did too.
Yeah, that's my rating as well.
Wow, 2 for 2 where we all agreed.
Yeah.
Nice. What do we got next week?
Oh, my pick, I think, right?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
So we are going to do the Jeremy Irons, Juliette Binoche, 1992 film Damage.
Okay.
That I googled.
Okay, cool.
Google.
Hell yeah.
Google.
Hell yeah, dude. Cool. Yeah, we'll see you same Swimfans time, same Swimfans place.
Where can we find you, Josh?
Well, first of all, you can find the show on all your podcatchers of choice. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. Please give us a rating and a review. It has been brought to my attention via Urgent News Bulletin that you can now rate stars on Spotify. So give us a star rating on multiple podcatchers. Please and thank you. Or you'll go back into the punishment chamber. Please, I won't threaten you. Please just give us them.
I would like company in the punishment chamber. So,
yeah, Craig's been talking to the dog bowl we give him. Its name is Lyle.
Yeah. Y'all seen Barbarian yet? Because that's basically what's up with my life right now.
You can also find us on YouTube now. There are some of our episodes up on YouTube, so if that is a preferred method of listening, you can find some of us there. Please follow and subscribe there as well. And you can find the show on all your social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. User SwimFansPod. And myself, you can find at user Amons, all those same spots, AMONNS. Alex.
Twitter, Diatron5, and on Letterboxd, Diatron. Craig.
At Craig Neeson on Letterboxd and Instagram, www.craigneeson.com.
There's not even like a good song in this movie. There's not even Love Me Like You Do to go out with.
No.
Not even a song that summarizes what we just saw either, which is...
Love Me Like You Don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Taking us out is Wish by Alien Ant Farm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.